Welcome to today's video, which is creative ideas for your next scrapbooking layout. From circle trees to flip flaps and embellishment clusters with gold accents, I am going to touch on all of these and show you an easy way to do it using a scrapbooking kit from close to my heart. Hi, I'm Katie Taylor at scrappinkaty.com, where I show you how to preserve your family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. I am going to be using the Evergreen Workshop Kit for a couple of reasons. I love using these kits because they have exclusive die cuts and exclusive pattern papers in them. Usually, this one it does, and I'm going to be doing a fun thing. I'm going to redesign it. So just because you see the fully color illustrated guide here, I like to pick up things along the way. Close to my heart makes some really good layouts as well as some really good suggested techniques. So I'm going to be using those, but all of these circle elements, that's a sticker, but there's a whole bunch of circle elements that I'm going to be doing a fun thing with today. So hold on tight for that. I'm going to walk you through the kit right quick. A lot of you already know what comes in the kit. You get some photo placeholders, and this is just if you are making the layouts ahead of time and you want to add your photos later. Or if you're like me, I like to use them as a photo mat. So in my last video, you'll see these here. That white is actually the photo placeholder. And then I just trim my photos down ever so slightly. So I'll get that mat, and then a lot of times you'll have a second mat, and I just prefer multiple mats on my photos. So I love that these kits come with these. You also get a full paper packet. So the Evergreen has this sticker sheet as well as the paper collection. Now you get 6 pieces of paper. So you get 2 of these. So this is a front and a back that you're looking at. Again, the front and the back with the music notes and the mink. And then the polka dots and that real pretty pine foliage type of paper. And then here is a look at the exclusive die cuts. So on this kit, you get these, and then you get the circles. And these are the things that we're going to do some fun things with. And then you also get this exclusive pattern paper. So it's got just this slight pattern on it, not sure if you can see that. And then it's got some distressing around the edges. And then you also have these 2, which are both the same. I love this. It's mink, and it's just kind of got that thatch to it. That texture that makes it look almost like a canvas. I don't know if you can see it, but hopefully you can. Oh, and look, my nails match. And then you get coordinating cardstock to make the layouts as well. And then in this one, you get these paperboard die cuts. So you've got all of these ferns. Love those. And I am actually going to be documenting that same Christmas, 2005, and this is one of the few times that we went to a somewhat local Christmas tree farm and chopped down our own Christmas tree. So I thought the Evergreen collection would be perfect for that. Now you can see here I have tons of photos. This was back before digital cameras. So you took your photos, you went and you had them processed. So you never really knew what you had until you got them back from the photo processing studio. So this is even culled down. This is probably a third of what I have from the Christmas tree farm. So I'm hoping to even cull it down even more and also use flip flaps to kind of hide some of these photos. So I'm going to clear this off, get things ready, and then we can get started. One of the techniques that the workshop calls for is using Distress Oxide to create some little landing ink spots for some of the embellishment clusters. Now there is a wilderness, a rustic wilderness. This is the color that I'm blending in circles onto that specialty paper that comes with the workshop. And then there is speckled egg. That one I'm just turning over onto my glass board and going to sprinkle it with some water. And then use the packaging technique to add some of that blue color around these circles. It's going to soften up that ink blending. You know, ink blending, you really don't want harsh lines like a true circle. So in the end, once I actually get all the embellishments in place, you'll hardly be able to tell that these are circles. You'll see our youngest son's hands come into play here in just a second. He was over here looking at the photos, asking about his older brothers, and asking where he was. Well, he wasn't even thought of yet, but that's why I love scrapbooking. They ask questions, they see the photos, and relive the memories. So I'm just going to clean this up. The glass board makes easy cleanup for me. And then I'm going to pull out my Versamat, and this is going to allow me to lay some of these pieces straight across. I usually use my T-ruler, but on this one, I'm just going to eyeball it a little bit. Now, I did elongate this leaf pattern from what the workshop calls for because I'm using larger photos. So here's where my T-ruler comes in. I'm just making sure that those are lined up. That bottom one is a little skewed because my paper is kind of warped because of the Distress Oxide. So I'm just going to lay down this thin piece of pattern paper as well as this long piece across the layout. So it takes me just a few tries to kind of figure out how I'm going to span the difference here. And then I'm pulling out some flip flaps. There are some photos that I kind of want hidden. So I'm going to go ahead and get that base photo adhered down, and then my flip flap, I'm going to just peel away half of it and then insert it under the photo with that white placeholder. So it's actually glued on top of my evergreen photo mat, and then rip the rest of that and then take my bone folder. Really make sure that that is adhered down. Now I prefer my flip flaps adhered to my layout base, but you can also adhere them to the top of your memory protector. I'll leave a link down below that will show you how I cut my memory protector to allow for those flip flaps to open and close when you're viewing my scrapbook. So make sure you expand that description, see that video, as well as all the product links. Now there is this cute, adorable little cluster of die cuts. There is this little tag. I'm adding some jute from my stash, and it's going to get adhered up right next to the top of that evergreen pattern paper as well as that ink cluster. Now the Christmas tree farm photo I do have on 3D foam tape just to kind of allow me to poke things under it here and there. And then of course that bottom photo, there is a sentiment from the sticker sheet, but I'm really not sure I want to use it yet. Even though this is Christmas time in Texas, it really doesn't get really cold or winter, but I'll decide later if I want to use it or not. So here is the technique that I have to show in this video. These circle die cuts, you will just want to fold in half. The evergreen ones are pretty simple to do, and then the doily ones, you just want to line up the scallops and really crease that center crease, and then take your scissors, or you could even put into your paper trimmer, and then just cut down the center. So basically you have half circles. And we are going to make some Christmas trees with these. Now, I love the circle placement in the workshop, but I really wanted to do something a little bit extra. Okay, so we are going to make these folded Christmas trees out of these half circles. I'm going to go slow, and then I'm going to speed things up. Let me move this to the side so you can see. So let's start with the scalloped one. Now you can see here that you actually see the front and the back side. These do have labels on them, but so far the ones that I've made, that really hasn't come into play. So the first thing you want to do is you want to fold the flat side over here. You want to fold it, and this is how tall your tree is going to be. So depending on how short or tall you want your tree to be, that's how far past these little scallops you're going to go. So I think I want mine about right there. And then you're going to turn it over. So flat edge, how tall I want my tree, and then you're going to turn it over and you're going to accordion fold it. using that flat edge as a guide. So my flat edges are lining up, and then I'm going to fold it using the other side as a guide. And then I'm going to fold it back, and you're just going to keep doing that accordion style until you either get to a point where it either won't accordion anymore, or we're going to put little toppers on here. So like that can hide that. So you see, there's a tree. So let's do this one. So again, flat edge. I want my tree probably that tall. These are a little bit different because they're so little. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to accordion fold it. And then accordion fold. And basically you just want to make sure that your edges are the same. So see how that fold is a little bit off? And then accordion back. And I mean, this would look really, really good with some double-sided paper, you know, like Close to My Heart's paper is. But I was trying to use the circles in this kit. So we have that one, which you see, that one looks totally different than this one. So let's try this again. This time I'm going to go flat edge like this. And let's see if we can get a greener tree. So green, 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 and then it's going to end white. So then I'm going to repeat the process with this. So I originally wanted to make these layouts with the triangle trees thin cuts, but you know, those sold out twice already. So I decided to do this because I know a lot of y'all see these videos and want to order what I'm using. That way your products will be in hand by the time you print your Christmas photos and want to document them. Okay, so I have 4 of the bigger trees. Let's do one more of this one. So I'm going to move those to the side, and then I am going to work on this little embellishment cluster up here. The workshop called for some of these fern die cuts, but I wanted to give my paper time to dry before I adhered those down. So I've got those tucked in behind. I'm loving that look. And then I'm going to use my micro glue dots to adhere this jute in place. I love this little technique. You kind of get the organic feel of it, but because of the glue dots, they stay in place. And that helps, especially when you go to put them in your memory protector. I am going to finish off this little embellishment cluster up at the top with a couple of stickers using some 3D foam tape. And then I am going to pull out my gold paint marker, and I'm going to add some gold touches to these trees. They just needed something extra, and by using this chisel tip for this gold paint marker, I'm able to just go around the scalloped edge. I am going to do front and back just to make sure that, you know, when I accordion fold it, both sides will show. And actually, I was surprised at how easy this was to do after the fact. I just unfolded them, added those gold touches, and then because of those fold marks, they really folded right back into place really, really easily. So I'm going to continue to do that, and then also when I refold them, I am going to add some adhesive to those layers to make sure that they adhere together. And then I am going to take one of my little bitty tip of this gold marker, and I'm going to add just some doodle dots on those white pieces that show both on the evergreen circle and the scalloped circle. Now, as far as the trees go, I decided to cut a 3x3 mink pattern paper and ink it up in that Rustic Wilderness Distress Oxide ink. and that's going to serve as my landing space for these trees. I am going to use the Evergreen card making stamp set and ink it up in sage ink and just stamp that down onto that 3x3 square piece of paper, kind of as a backdrop to these trees. Again, kind of adding dimension, giving it some sort of cohesiveness so it doesn't look like I just made these elegant trees and slapped them on the layout. So for this little cluster, I am using 2 of the scalloped edge trees and then 1 of the little evergreen circle trees. And I am going to add some wooden stars to the top of these. Not only because I think they need something, but like you saw on the close-ups, some of those tops just kind of got out of hand. So I've pulled several of the little wooden stars and I'm going to adhere those down with some liquid adhesive. While adhering these, I did notice that those top flaps weren't adhered down either, so I'm going to add some liquid adhesive to those just to make sure that they are secure. One thing I did want to point out is that you'll notice that my flip flap is open when doing this. Because my flip flap is going to be on the outside of my memory protector, these trees needed to be under that top flip flap. Now this star I love. I'm going to be using 2 of those and I'm just backing them with some of that foliage pattern paper and they'll just peek in behind that star. And again, just adhering those down. I will come back with glue dots to really secure them later. For the right layout, I've already put that together, but I did want to show you this little cluster. This cluster is perhaps my favorite cluster of all. You'll have to hang around to see the still shots. I did repeat that 3x3 mink piece of paper with those evergreen trees. I did decide to use only 2 trees on this one because I noticed on that left layout once it dried that sage ink really was subtle. So now that I've only used 2 trees, you're really able to see that those stamped trees behind there. So there is another little tag. I am going to add some of my jute to that tag and get that adhered down. And then I am going to take some of the stickers and remove the stickiness from them using my anti-static pouch. And then apply one of those strip stickers. And this one, I believe, says baby it's cold outside. These are the ones that I said, you know, there's winter, there's baby it's cold outside, and something else. They really didn't fit, but then again I got to thinking about it and yeah, I mean it is Christmas, they can go on there. So I'm using 3D foam tape to adhere those, and then I'm going to use my glue dots again to kind of get this jute in place from these tags. I'll do the same with that top right embellishment cluster as well. And then I am going to add some more of those little fern die cuts. Now, the fern die cuts are exclusive to this workshop kit. You also can get them with the Evergreen Digital Collection. I just found that they are super hard to cut because it's such an intricate cut. But I absolutely love these. If Close to My Heart offered just these, I would probably buy 10 packages of these. Just love the look of them. You'll definitely see once you look at the still shots just how much it makes those clusters pop. I am using our wood grain die cut numbers for the year. I did decide to put it on this pattern paper. In the video, you really can't tell, but in real life, it does stand out a little bit more than what shows in this video. So I've just spelt out 2005. And then I decided to take that third paint marker that comes in this trio and just add doodle dots around those clusters. I just love the look of the gold on this layout. I know that the doilies or those scallop circles have that gray and we have the mink, but just the addition of this gold, especially that gold paint pen, just adds so much to these layouts. Again, here are some close-ups. I will leave links down below to the Evergreen collection as well as a video that I show you how to cut your memory protector for those flip flaps if you want to adhere your flip flap to your base instead of the top of your memory protector. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Remember, if you liked what you saw, hit that like button. And if you aren't already a subscriber, subscribe and sign up for notifications so you won't miss another crafty video. Thanks, and you guys have a wonderful week.